You guys hear me now? For a minute there, it seemed to be dropping out. Hop-in did. Sorry. Just give me a thumbs up or something. All right. Thanks, Patrick. I don't know where I dropped off, but somewhere in there I did. Anyway, I was 11 Bravo, wanted to shoot guns and blow stuff up, and then I decided I didn't want to shoot guns and blow stuff up because I didn't like walking. I liked air conditioning better than walking, as I think most of us do. And the Army opened up 25 November Joint Nodal Network Administrator, and they're like, hey, you should do this because it's a new MOS. And they're like, want to go hang out at Fort Gordon? So I went and hung out at Fort Gordon, and then after that to Monterey, California, and worked with a couple of civilian organizations out there, learning stuff and really building up the sometimes Tobias, sometimes. I actually justified sleeping in the back of it just in case anything went down so I could have air conditioning when I was sleeping. Had a lot of fun sleeping on the top of STTs too at times because something was broken, as was tradition with them. And then joined the Guard and went 255 Sierra, and then got out because I wanted to join the civilian sector. And yeah, that's kind of my brief military history there, real quick, just kind of throwing it all in there. Let's see, we got 16 people in here, and we're right at the 5-minute mark. So 15, 16 people. I'll talk to anybody, so it doesn't matter. Any questions, comments, concerns, or anything you have, drop in the chat over here. There's a Q&A thing if you want to do that, but I say let's just throw it in a in the chat here, and we'll keep it, super simple. If I go too fast, let me know. But what I'm pretty much going to cover down here is, kind of creating your own OpenSOC or your own SOC platform for pretty much as free as you can get it. And I mean, if you can afford to stand up a Ubuntu instance of Linux, then you can afford to build this. I don't know if the new people coming in saw it, but I'll just go ahead and repost it. Former Navy IT did server admin and security stuff. Nice. Cool. So for those of you just coming in, because I'm lazy and don't want to type again, I'll just drop it right here. We got all the branches so far I see except for Coast Guard and Marines, but we shall see as we get more people coming in. All right, so I'm going to cover down on this real quick, and then we'll jump into actually building something and not bore you completely to death. So I'm going to cover down on Wazoo. It's pretty straightforward, incredibly capable SIM solution. If you don't know any of the acronyms that I'm saying, just throw it in the chat and I'll answer it. Does a lot of good stuff. It's very extensible. It uses, okay, so we do have a Marine in here. We just don't have any Coast Guard so far. So cool. Really straightforward solution set. It comes with a lot of pre-built auditing stuff in it. If any of you were in just the last session for the intelligence platform, intelligence analysis stuff, you would have heard him talking about the MITRE framework and stuff like that, and the difficulties of mapping that and so forth. This has the MITRE attack framework built in that you can look and see the threats and the IDs associated with them. And that's pretty much just a quick overview. It has TSC, GDPR, the whole nine for those of you moving into the civilian sector that may have to do work with multinational companies. GDPR is kind of important, but not something we're going to cover down here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a little link in here if you guys want to build along with me. I would encourage you to build along with me. If you want to build along with me, throw me a little a little thumbs up or something. Sorry, I was USAF and oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to utilize the proper vernacular for the Air Force. Um, yeah, England for 4 years. Ooh, nice, cool. John's big balling in here with his 17 Charlie stuff. So this is a Linode thing. I don't get any kickbacks or any of that crap for it. It's not what I'm here for. This just gives you $100 credit to go to Linode and build some stuff, and you can leave things up and running and playing for a little while. So it's free to you because why not? I like free. Free 99 is my favorite kind of cost. Let's see, we got 26 people in here now. And where I'm at is if you want to build along, drop the link in here. You can use AWS EC2 instances. You can use anything you want. As long as you can spin up Ubuntu 20, there you go. So you can do it in Azure too. In the EC2 instance, just make sure that your firewall rules and stuff are set to, for this purpose for now, inbound, outbound, 22, 5100. Just leave it wide open for now and then tune it down. I'll show you where you can find the ports and stuff that you need for communication. Thank you, Jake. I am excited to be doing it. So since we got a few more people in here, pretty much, let me just break this down real quick. I'm going to cover Wazoo and OpenSIM solutions extensible via open APIs and the open API framework. So you can pretty much connect it to anything. This is my LinkedIn. If you want to go to it and read about me and stalk me and stuff, that's fine. I don't care. OSINT, that's not a thing for me. I just don't pay attention to it. This guy, Mike Miller, great guy to follow if you're not following. He gives a lot of great information. I wanted to bring him up in a little bit, but since we're getting more people, he is an amazing guy, a wealth of knowledge, and my favorite person that I have served with, and her and I are very good friends, is Jax. She is an amazing person, and she is also, I believe, giving a session. Her and I have been friends since she worked help desk in the Army as an E4. So we've known each other about 20 years. Great person, great organization, and great evolution of cyber. And if you read her story, she's one of the first females that was in a SOC unit. Geez, not a SOC. I got SOC on the brain. I apologize. In a SOF unit, and did some really cool stuff. So really got to check her out and listen to her podcast and connect with her. She's amazing. Not a paid product placement or anything like that. I just think she's amazing. So again, this is me. You want to go check it out, check what I did, see stuff. Cool. Back to this. All right, so I'm going to stand up a brand new Linode. If we're all good, throw me a couple of thumbs up in the chat. Let me know we're good to go ahead and start kicking some stuff off so that way that we can. All right. Kyle's good. Patrick's good. Eddie's good. We're all good. All right. So if Jake's like, let's go, you're talking too much, bro. I get it. I talk way too much. If you didn't see it and you want to do this on Linode 2 instead of AWS or Azure, free $100 credit thing right here that I went and said, can I get it? And they said, go click these buttons and here you go. So let's go. So I'm going to click a Linode. Of course, I'm going to drop down here and I am going to stick with Ubuntu 20.4. There are a couple of little issues in 22.4, and so I just stick with 20.4. I'm going to drop it in Dallas, and I'm going to go with this itty bitty tiny 4 gig box just for the testing purposes. Their suggestions are to go 8 and 16, but it will run just fine with 4 gigs of RAM, just for the testing purposes that we're doing here. All right, so I will name this VetSecCon 22. That's what I'm going to name it. So we'll copy this, and I'll just make it my tag. Because why not? It's not going to let me, whatever. All right, so I'm going to come up with a password that doesn't suck. Seems good. I'm going to do this just open straight SSH on the internet, just to make it super fun, super easy. Do suggest securing that a bit better and adding some firewall rules and stuff of that nature to make sure that, you know, it's not just wide open to the world. So we'll watch this build a little bit. It doesn't take but a few minutes, and installing Wazoo itself doesn't take but probably 8 minutes total. But it's the configuration and everything else that you have to do that is the biggest hurdle to overcome. And that's where getting into this world that you're going to be operating in and into this realm that working in a SOC or being a SOC analyst or transitioning from the 8 and 16, Nicole, you know, wherever you're starting your career, you're welcome. Wherever you're starting your career, you know, or you're transitioning into, everything's a learning curve. And just like anything we all probably did in the military, you'll realize that everything you know is not what you know, because you learn as you're on the job and doing the work. And it changes, especially in the civilian sector. For those of you that aren't in it, it changes. Sometimes it seems like every hour on the hour, or at least every other hour, and get used to meetings. So this thing's doing its thing, and we're just letting it circle around and build it. It's doing back end stuff, but I jumped in too soon as it's standing up the Ubuntu instance itself. And as I do this, I'm going to paste the commands into the chat so that way that you can copy, paste, and run them to make it really easy. And then I'll give you my email address if you want the full kind of whatever. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to run a set of commands to update and then grab all the prereqs that we need. So I'm going to paste those in here and shoot that over. But I'm going to do this, and I'm doing this on Windows. I generally prefer doing it on my Mac, but I figured it depends on where everybody's at, that we should just do what everybody is comfortable with and probably has access to. And I didn't want to be that guy that you've probably seen YouTube videos on of, well, on Mac it's this. No, let's just make it super easy, do it on Windows and call it good. And because why not? Windows does everything anyway, right? No, it doesn't. But all right, I'm going to go ahead. You'll see this is a brand new instance, no pre-staged anything. We're doing this live and in person. All right, then sudo --i is what I like to do. Clear my screen, and if I'm going too fast or anything, let me know. Or if you want me to go slower, we'll do all these updates real quick, because I don't really want to run something that's not updated if I can help it. So these will take just a minute, and I'll transition to standing for this while this is going on, just so that way we can make life a little easier on me to see everything as it progresses and moves and changes. All right, so you guys are seeing what I'm seeing and doing what I'm doing. I hope. Give me a thumbs up if you're at this point or at least close to this point. Right. So now we're going to curl some stuff over here, and then we're going to do a legit new install. So this command, my Linode server is provisioning right now. Well, Michael, I can slow my roll if you want me to, and we can talk through some of this, or if y'all just want to get to building, we'll just keep building. Launching console currently. Awesome. All right. Well, I'm gonna throw the curl in here, and I'll start downloading that, and then we'll make this a good hold point before the install. How about that? I think that'll work for everybody. I just don't want to, run too fast or do things too crazy. Let's just make this whole screen. It's a little intense. That should be a little better. All right. So as you see right here is my Wazoo install that I picked up directly from Wazoo. The command is over there. And then after this, we'll sign up for one more little thing that is completely free for you to sign up and do. So that way that you have a little more integration as a fairly simple integration to bounce against virus total, so it can do some analysis of file and file types and so forth. So this will be the next command that we're going to run. How's everybody doing right now? Everybody moving forward and everything working? Just throw me a little thumbs up or whatever. I just don't want hop into a falling out or anything, because that happens. Okay, cool. Oh, Nicole's head of the class over here. She's installing already as I just ramble on incessantly. All right, so I'll go ahead and install too. So it's going to install version 4.3.9, which is the latest version. We did it with attack A, so that way that you can see the verbosity of it installing and how it installs. The indexer itself is based off of Elk. It's an Elk stack underlying solution set with Wazoo on the front end of it. The Elastic portion itself is what is doing the vast majority of the logging or the searching and indexing and so forth. And then Logstash in the middle, and Kibana scripting or KQL scripting language on the outside of it. There's a lot of really good information out there for Kibana and how to write in the KQL language. So if you need some research tools on that, then go out there, research it, look it up. But there's a lot of really well written documentation for Wazoo, and their community is also amazing. Big fan of the Wazoo community. I'm not as active as I guess I should be, but I'm a big fan of also giving away the farm, because this is supposed to be free and it's supposed to be enjoyable. And as many things that exist in the InfoSec IT world that suck, I don't want this to suck. So here's all the documentation and everything else that you'll need. It's a really straightforward documentation. It's broken down, really well written. And if you wanted to use this solution and sell it to an organization that you're working for or whatever, you can go down here and go into the proof of concept guide after it's done. And this gives you a full breakdown on everything that you can do inside of an organization in a practical and safe manner, and show the usability of Wazoo itself. If you want to go over and learn some more Wazoo and how to do a lot of things inside of it, then they're learning. It's free. It breaks down everything that you need. I wrote it into a little script to make life easier. So it's just on a single instance. If you wanted to create a high availability cluster, then there's a bit deeper dive that you have to make, but it's not too difficult. So this is everything that you can alter and change, and we'll get into that here shortly. But just want you to be aware of it and drop that. How long does it take to install? Well, mine is, I don't know. Contains Wazoo cluster key. Mine's done. Well, I could not start mine. Oh, I did not do it right. Oops. Is yours still installing? Let me reboot mine. Apologies. All right, so Nicole, since yours is installed, you should have gotten something that says the username is admin and then a very long password. I suggest very much saving that password. And the public IP address that you got, it should be available. Had I done mine properly, then we wouldn't have this issue, and I'd be showing you that right now. But also, if you want to do this in the cloud, then you can do a Wazoo cloud-based solution, which they also sell, and there's no credit card needed or anything like that. And it's 14 days, and it's the exact same thing that we're doing right now, except eventually there is a charge, and I don't want to do charges. I like free. So, of course, Nicole's troubleshooting cannot find or open Wget. Okay, Michael's there. Just if you did, Brants, if you did Ubuntu, it should just be apt-get install wget space -y, and that should allow you to install wget if you don't have it. But and if you went with the Amazon EC2 instance, it probably doesn't have it, so you'll have to install that. Okay. And we'll just overwrite everything. So if you need a reinstall on your instance, you'll use -O to overwrite everything. And it'll say, oh, okay, cool. Oh, -A-O, dash install space -O. And removing whatever it needed to. It did not find the key. Wonder if I copied my commands wrong. I need to do, because I should have gotten the GNPU key. It does not appear that I did. So that's why we open this and do this again. Let's see. You will have to open your SG. Yes, it is. It will start HTTPS. Oh, let me make sure I got my GNUPGT. I don't think that I did, and that could be the problem. Okay. Okay, so we are good there. Well, let's see. If not, she's alive. Yay, Nicole did it. Beautiful. Well, I'm going to have to catch up to Nicole. But I promise you I've done this a few times. Just a few. So, oops. Probably could have just stuck it right there. Now we'll just do it this way. And this is what you should see once it comes up. And as soon as it finishes building. We'll take a moment here for this one to build and let everyone take a quick bio coffee break. I'll say 3 minutes while this finishes. How's that sound? Awesome. All logged into Wazoo. Hopefully mine starts. If not, I'll have to rebuild this or I'll just jump into my instance here and just go through. Oh, now it's doing the security center settings. So there we go. Maybe it was just a little, I'm not ready to be messed with right now, hiccup. All right. That's why I have such a big block of time here to be able to do this quickly or troubleshoot if necessary. Michael's good. Nicole's good. Who else is in or up and running? If you're, following along and doing it. If not, that's cool. Blake's good. Brant's is you good over there? I'm hoping. I had invited a few of my coworkers, but I don't see that they've joined. They may or may not. Negative, still working on it. All right, Brant. Well, I can't really give you control to help you walk through it, but we can figure it out along the way. If you got questions, I'll work on answering them the best that I can. I think it's just Amazon because Amazon doesn't like people. I don't know. Well, AWS doesn't really like people. Brant, what are you in? Are you in Linode or? Did you select the Ubuntu 20.04 LTS? Okay. We'll just jump on the 20.04 LTS and I will paste all the commands back in the chat for you. And boom. Also, I'll leave this one up. If anybody wants to copy the username password, I'll leave it up for the next 5 days or so. So you can beat around on it and whatnot. Or I can copy the username password into the chat here. Let me paste these commands for our good friend Brant so he can rebuild and catch up. So that's for Brant. And then I will take this username password, going against all security standards and sharing it with, everybody, because why not? It's kind of what we should do. Not really, but this is a segregated instance from anything that's production anyway. And that's what we're here to do, is set you up and make it operational and as close to free as we can get. So I'm gonna come over here now. I will grab this IP, and I only choose Dallas because that's where I'm from originally. So it just makes me happy to choose Dallas. All right, I know it's not private, and that's fine. There's some write-ups and documentation on securing it. You can utilize 20.04. Yes, not 22.04. 22.04 has a bug that doesn't allow it to install properly because of the SE Linux permissions, and that's what we want to avoid. All right. So let's scoop this up right here. I'll grab the password. Oh shoot, I'm on 2204, but it did work. That's fine if it worked for you, Nicole. That's perfectly fine. I know that Linode's 2204 has a bug. Okay, well, maybe they fixed it. I don't venture out too much into reconfiguring if I can help it, to be honest. So we're going to go over here, get this, and now we're going to go to virus total. This is mine. This is just a breakdown of kind of what you can get. These are your MITRE signatures. There's no IDS rules for this. There's some Sigma rules. And again, depending on what your organization chooses to map against, or, 873, 161, NIST, whatever it is, which bounces against MITRE anyway. And this can give you a kind of whole breakdown. And this is the MITRE attack framework, whatever they call those. I forget what they call them. Whatever their identifiers are. But this also has the updated C2 command stuff in it. Which screen is this? This is virus total. Right here, virustotal.com. I'll put that in the chat also. This is just a breakdown of the information that we're going to be pulling from virus total. We're going to be pulling this into Wazoo as our first integration, and it's a super simple integration. So this is mine, and I'm going to copy my API key, which I'll share with you guys too, because I don't care. This is the not premium version. So it doesn't cost anything either. This is for smaller deployments and stuff like that. I will paste this, which you'll need for your integration here shortly. So just keep that on the side there for you. And let me see where I'm at today. I'm good. I have very low quota usage because I haven't done anything, but if I needed to, you can just create another one. So right now I've got 4. I've literally done 4 lookups. The free API keys are limited to 4 requests a minute. That is correct. They are 4 requests a minute and not super dynamic for anything that you're going to want to do in a production level environment. If you're going to go production and you're going to really want to sync this in, then, and it's not a required thing, it's just showing you the ease of integration. If you don't want to do this integration, you don't have to, but just want to show the ease of integration of something that people have, respect and so forth for with VirusTotal itself. I like VirusTotal for looking stuff up on their web front end because I don't have to depend on their key or having my API key. I know it's terrible. I really wish that there were free, like, hey, we're just a really cool company and we really want to do stuff because we make a lot of money over here doing other things and we want to give back to the community and enable smaller organizations and people to learn and work and do things actually for free. But then somebody, I guess probably like myself, would abuse it or something and be like, yeah, I just enjoy it so much. So I see both sides of the coin. I'm not saying I like it though. And of course, ESPN is going off on my phone, and I apologize for that. All right. So, yep, that's saying it's time to move on to the next thing instead of just talking. All right. So, right now, this is where you'll start out as soon as you come in, and everybody that has it installed. I'm kind of buying time too, so that way Brant can get himself up and running and be on the same page with us. Brant, you want to give me a little update? Getting closer? So, there's 2 ways that you can edit and do things. Thank you. I'm still going through the setup. Don't wait on me. Okay, Brant. So we're going to keep moving forward. I'll just try not to do it too much. If you're not a command line person and you don't want to go in here and edit the config with nano, this is your base config file right here. So this is where you'll put your SMTP information and so forth, and some other things that you'll have to do if you wanted to set up email alerts. If you don't want to do it that way, there's a much easier way. You come over here and you're going to go to management. Then you're going to go to configuration. And you'll see this main configuration here, but you'll go up here to the top and click edit configuration. So again, Wazoo management configuration. It'll bring you to this individualized configuration. And if you want to change alerts and stuff, you can change how this will get to this. And that's what I was just alluding to. But just breaking this down, these are default log levels and stuff that you're not, like, you can't just click and change. So that's why I say you can do it here in this, and this has XML format validation in it. Or if you're real good, you can do the same thing on the back end in your var osec.com file. So it's var osec, no, it's var, and then, oops, sorry about that. If you want to do it on the back end, again, var osec etsy osec.conf, and I will copy that and put it in here if you want to do it on the back end. And this is where the vast majority of changes and stuff will be, or where you will need to put them. Or we can do it here. And you will see as we go through, this is the base config file and directories to ignore that it knows to ignore on the Linux side. So we'll come down here. And if you're going to build a cluster, please make note of this portion here. This is, if you set this as the master node, every other cluster that you would add would have this, and then the additional node IPs would be underneath. So right now, this as being a base config is only going to be looking at syslog related items that you'll be able to pull directly from Windows and Linux based systems. So if we were to come over here and let's add our virus total configuration, our integration, we'll scroll all the way to the bottom in depending on which way you're wanting to do this. I know it seems like a lot, but it's not too terrible. I will give you the integration for virus total, and I will paste that here. This is the integration, and we're going to load it after this portion here. All right, if you want to do it here, same thing, come all the way to the bottom, add some spaces, and drop your integration. This is that key that I gave you, but I also put it in here so you could have it. And then click save, and you'll see that this says that the configuration is wrong. So if you make a mistake, it's going to let you know. That's why I suggest if you're new to this and just now doing it, do it this way first, unless, like I said, you are really good at XML and knowing how it is supposed to be. So we'll go over to Wazoo itself, documentation, and I'll pull it up here to show you how you can read about the integration for Virus Total. This is the admin integration with external APIs. So this is all of the ones that come standard, and this is the Virus Total one. This is the integration here that I was just going through and what I input and dropped into the chat for you. And what you're going to do is with these integrations is make sure that they're inside of, and as you saw the error that came up, you want to make sure that they are inside of the config portion itself, because outside of that, it's not going to know to continue reading it. My suggestion is to break your own individual ones into your own OSEC config areas. So you'll start there. And I would comment it. And to comment in XML, you open caret, exclamation, or and then you'll put whatever you want, however you want to do it. If you want to comment and add comments into it, then you need to close this portion of your config itself. And let me know if you where everybody's at. Oops, I knew I did that. Yep, there we go. Okay, so now you see it's green and we're good. So you could put it up here if you wanted, but keep it logically separated and make your comments as necessary, just like these comments are done in your areas that you are editing or doing whatever you're doing yourself. So just say that this is for us now. Let's see. Okay, no questions, no nothing. This is and there we go. And again, we'll save it. As soon as we get the green message here, we're good to go. Restart. And we will confirm it's restarting. We'll let it do its thing. Then we'll pull this up and over here. And of course, I could just page down, but I'm just being lazy, or I'm just not wanting to push the buttons. Come all the way down and we'll see our own stuff reflected in the back end directly as it should be. All right, so let's do some better stuff. All right, so let's add an agent. Everybody else on here is like, you're going too slow, man. I've already added 7 agents and I'm deployed full production, whatever. So Red Hat, CentOS, Debian and Ubuntu based systems, Windows, of course. And this you want to put as your external IP. I suggest IP just to avoid DNS, but if you don't want to, you don't have to. And then, it's your call. So yeah, this is super simple PowerShell commands. So let's go grab some PowerShell. I like PowerShell ISE. And you can also do this via group policy if you wanted to, and stack the commands themselves. So I will bring my PowerShell over here. I will drop in here. All right, so it's going to do its little thing. Then we're going to go over here and we're going to start it. And of course, I put the wrong server in there because I pulled this out. Oh, no, it's stupid boy. Where is my Wazoo? Oh, what is going on with me today? Oh, we'll just do it this way. We'll go to our services and start it that way because it's now an installed service. Oh, let me pull this over here. I am not sharing. And cool. All right. Progress silently continue to speed up those PowerShell. I know. I should do that. Thank you, Curtis. Has anybody else started installing an agent? Anybody else? Well, I'm starting installing. It looks like it finished, but I don't have Wazoo SVC. I wonder why. So if I look at my task manager, my Wazoo service is running and operational. That seems a bit strange. So if it's in Windows, then you will go to your agent folder, which depending on Where did the chat go? Right here. Make sure that this folder is up and running. That you have you're looking for. I'll show you guys how to change it. So if you want to change and repoint your manager, because you've changed or updated or deleted or broken your instance, we shall see. Sure that we're happy and healthy is where we at. And if you that opens this, and then you should see, I'm going to run this agent off. Make sure it's pointed to this manager. Do you see this in that folder, Michael? You do not see this folder? Yes. It has to be admin PowerShell to run it. No problem. So I was just going to break down what the agent does too. These are the active responses that are in the agent and what it'll actively do right now. The active response itself is only set to not let the agent get killed, and it'll restart Wazoo itself. But as you want to add active response to include, which we'll cover here in a moment, but to include setting firewall rules and so forth for IP attacks, and there, yay, Michael's got it. All right. So this is where all your active response stuff, which is a plus. It's not offensive, but it is aggressive defense. So it'll auto block things and lock out accounts that start bouncing against it or that get created without permission. All in this, and it does it via just standard applications that bat file applications. Sorry, my brain is not working right this moment. I apologize. Rule sets, which we'll get into when I'll show you what all the rule sets are and what they bounce against. But this is the CIS rule sets. So what this does is it checks against the password policy, as you see right there, and all of the other IDs in the Center for Internet and Security Benchmarking folks. All of their baseline. These are the rule sets for it. There's a lot here, but this is all of the rule sets that exist. And as it talks to Wazoo itself and Wazoo updates, so too will the rule sets on the individual agents out there. So I am not going to break that right this moment, but let's go, break that down right this moment on all the rules. I'm going to go over here to all of the settings and kind of break down the APIs and how it works. You have a base API here, and this should always be online for all of your integrations and so forth to work. We're going to come over here, and these are the modules that I was talking about. Security events and integrity monitoring on by default. You can integrate very easily with Office 365 as an enterprise application. And you switch it on, and then you will come over here to the Wazoo Documentation, and it wants Office 365. So monitoring Office 365 activity, kind of the whole breakdown of it. This is for the API and how you're going to do your app registration. And it's super easy. And it's just the standardized tenant, object, and application client ID. Then you'll create a new client secret. You'll put all of that into a configuration file, and it'll break down only the things that it needs, like for reading your DLP policy and so forth. And then this, where I showed you in the integrations right here, will be the same thing with your tenant ID, client ID, and client secret. And then you'll post that. And this is if you want to manually generate something. We don't have to do that right now. But if you put that in and put it into the off the osec.conf file, then you'll start monitoring O365 stuff after you walk through this breakdown. All right, so we're going to go back to, let's close this. Let's come over here and let's just get these all cleared up and make sure that we have a clean plate. Got that, got this, and back into here. So super easy. After you put the integration in, click this on, it'll start bringing in different O365 things that you need and want in there. So virus total, that's the integration that we already did. And if you don't need GDPR and you don't need HIPAA and you only want the trusted services criteria, just select that. But PCI DSS and NIST 800-53 are default and they are not turned off and cannot be. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to drop my sample threat detection and response data in here. And where's Brant's? You doing good, Brant's? Just wanted to check on you. Make sure you're good. So let's go over here to our dashboard. Oops, wrong one, sorry. As soon as it finishes its load process. And one more thing that I need to do the agent first. Go back, because I need to show you what the virus total input would look like. So once you come in here, you'll see this detection itself, total count. And if we want to filter this out and we don't want to see it, then, it's gone. But we kind of want to keep that. So and if we click, it'll take us over here and say, hey, yes, we know what it is. These are who's seen it or not detected it or whatever the output was, like I showed earlier. And these, you can change the colors if you want. They're going to break down by types over here. These are the total positives. So these are the malicious ones, and that's what we really care about, where it is and what it's spread across. So we see that it's on this machine at this time, this type, right? So it's going to break it down here for us where it's at. And if you wanted to download the raw, you can and read it that way. I prefer the raw format personally. So let's go over back to our standard dashboard. Stop clicking, Robert. And let's go to policy monitoring. And then we'll select a date range. Get over here. And this is, again, the sample data stuff, but this little date here, let's go back further and update for this full range here. If you want to change it, and even if it says it's sample data or not, you can also add other data in here and configure it. So we'll add one more for the auditing and policy monitoring. And then I will also add the AWS, Office 365, GCP, GitHub, and some SSH stuff in here to give you a full breakdown, just because it would take a significant amount of time for me to pull it all in with a single agent, and that would not be very fun for the entirety of, Jesus, I keep doing that, the entirety of this session here. So, what is wrong with me today? Let's go over here. We go to NIST, break it down. Yes, this is anything that the rule NIST 800-53 exists. And there were some very interesting alerts, and this is just a reporting mechanism that you can pull out pretty easily. So you'll generate this report. It's going to generate a PDF for you, and then you'll come over here. I'm trying to show all the things, but not overwhelm, if that makes sense. And then download it, and this is an executive level type summary that you can get, share, and give. And all of this information up here is editable. So I'm going to pause right there for just a second, then we'll go back into some other things and talk about the different controls. And ask if there's any questions, comments, concerns. And if you are at a point that you want to take 5 minutes and breathe through it and play with what you've already built, let me know in the chat area here. Okay. So I say I'm going to give us 5 minutes and let you dig around. If you want to go poke around on this system, I have no problems with that. Let me grab this. And I will give everyone a few minutes to go poke around and play with the sample data I dropped in here. Local log available where I can see the amount of activity from the, yes. So I'm gonna go over here. We're gonna go to tools. Right there. Then we'll go over here and we will look at, yeah, I know. I'm gonna fix it. Thank you. So this is the logs of what's going on for the system itself, and as agents respond in and send stuff forward, it'll be posted in here also. If you want to look locally at the local agent logs, it's going to be that same folder that is the C program files, x86 OSEC agent. And I will put that back here so you can see that in case you lost that folder or didn't see it in the chat. Then we will open that up over here. And then we will go over here. I'll bring it up. I was totally, and then it breaks it down into date months. So let's just see what happened this day. Okay. And oh, sad face, it's all encrypted because you have to look at it through the over here, the agents tab itself. When you are able to grab the agent and install it based on your installation. So let's see, might as well do that. Get it taken care of now. What other, oh, I did put the username password if you wanted to dig around. I'll uh, let everybody hop in there and jump around and ask me some questions and make this fairly interactive. If you want me to install this on the Linux box, I think I have one or two around here somewhere. You can do that, and I can pull an agent in and show you there, or kind of want you to drive this now, as this is something that you're going to build or play with or do whatever you choose to do with. This is your time to ask, the hard questions, what about this? What about that? And if I don't know the answer, I'll tell you. I'll be like, well, I don't know, because I don't ever use that portion. I don't mind doing that, or, being that open about it. And I'll show you guys what the events look like that are alert events. And these are broken down by the regulatory compliance types that are here. So if we were to add no, I'm not going to do that. I'll do this. Come on. Let's add. I could. Yeah, we'll do that. Cool. All right. So let's, oops. Let's see. If we want to change, I needed to cover this because you want to change what it's called and how it indexes. You need to change this here. And with the individual devices and things that are out there, you can choose IP ranges and things to ignore, ones that are especially chatty or that are going to be problematic. And these are some of the basic configuration things. And I'm sorry, I forgot to cover this down first. It literally slipped my mind, and I have it in my notes, and I saw it, and I wanted to cover it down. So it does have a cron job that builds automatically, that reindexes and executes the index every day. And if you want to customize the log stuff or the logo and so forth for your own self or organization, it's right here. There is an ability to multi-tenant this thing too. So, but I'm not going to get into that. That's a whole other breakdown. So I said that other types of regulatory compliance. So I just added GDPR and HIPAA. So now we will go back into here. And now you'll see over here is GDPR and HIPAA. And it'll take the data that you already have and start bouncing against what's already there and say, okay, this is the distribution of these across the board. This is this 164.312b and where it's at across agents, how many alerts are relational to it, and so forth across everything. And again, this is the KQL language. So if you wanted to add another filter, you say, okay, well, geolocation exist, save. And if no geolocation exists, then it'll also make sure that you can be like, okay, cool, I can see it by where it's out of. And then you create another tile that shows where this is most likely coming from by cities. So it's not too difficult. It's not too crazy. And then this is a breakdown of all of the requirement and control types. And so whatever the regulatory compliance is, and if it lists one, then it will be here and you'll be able to click and find the ones that are there. Same thing if it's minor attack. If there is, just say, let's go over here and pull these down, and you want to see the technique and the tactics. You're not seeing the miter here, whatever it is. We come over here into events and we'll go to Amazon. Oh, that was stupid. Sorry. Into this event. Oh. And it'll show you the cluster where it came from, what the breakdown was. I know, thank you. That was my fault. And the rule ID that it hit, which if you want me to get into those, I can get into your rule IDs and how to edit and manage and change those. But let me open it up for what people might have questions for. Check out security events, localhost, how many SSH in the okay. You want me over here, security events. Let's go to dashboard first and localhost, and you want me to SSH. So let's go to command operator is, oh, there aren't any operators for that. Do you want me to write a little breakdown for or filter it, or do you want me to just, how would you like me to go about that, Curtis? What do you want to see is what I'm asking. Oh, okay. I thought you wanted me to write a query. I was like, hey, let me do that. All right, let's refresh first. Pull all this other crap out, and then let's go over to events, localhost, and we'll search by, I need to dump this because I didn't put it into the filter itself. I should have done that. So my bad. Let me, let's do this then. Real quick, before we do that, let me do this because I want to have a successful agent in here because I'm feeling like I'm showing you poop data and I don't feel like that's right to do. So let's drop it into the default group and copy this, go over here and let's add this. Yeah, I know. Let's do that again. Okay. And let's do this. Yeah, we'll just do. Okay, and why is there such a lag on what's going on and what's showing? That's terrible. Sorry, there's a lag. All right, so now show you a real deal. Oh, it should be in there. Should be. 239 on my server already. Wow. I don't know why that agent didn't. I am just special today, I guess. I don't know why mine's doing that. Not really a fan of that. So, apologies for the agent not installing correctly. All right, so that refreshed and that's good. Okay, that's cool. All right, what else would y'all like to see? Level 12 or above. Nicole has a better situation with her security groups. Why is this not clicking? I have no idea why this is not functioning right this moment. Just seems like a lot of lag going on as I'm displaying and then watching at the same time. All right. What else would y'all like to see? Anything? Is there anything I can answer or provide? New agent, but I just found it. No problem. So it's just, and if you already have an agent installed, then it's fairly straightforward as well. What else? Statistics. it's cluster statistics, and I didn't tell it to run against the analysis engine. That's terrible. So let me pull up status. These are all of your, that's why it's not reporting right. Cool. This is all of your individual portions of the Wazoo manager itself and everything that it requires to operate and run. And these are your individual, the ones that are agentless. That's going to be for everything that is like XDR related, FortiGates, things of that nature. And I will show where all of those rule sets are. Over in the back end, let me, I threw an agent on a local Docker server. Because to monitor with Docker, close that, close that, close that. Getting a little ahead of myself over here. All right, so with Docker, there's a few more things you have to set up. So let's go, because that is, again, what I was just alluding to, agentless monitoring, and we have to set up connections to it. So we have to register, we have to run this script and list everything out. You have to set up a agent with, or a host signature and key connection with it, and monitor it that way. And let me, oh, that was pretty stupid of me to dump that. Get back over there to it as soon as it checks the API version, and we're good. Then we want to go into our, oh yeah, we'll do it this way. Come on. Let's go see about our API configuration. We'll go to our modules. Then we will pull up the, come on, right here, Docker listener. And this portion right here, where this has to be turned on for threat detection and response for the Docker listener, we have to pull and show you the configuration. I can put it in the chat for the Docker installation for the Docker listener. And again, it's an agentless process. And where is our awesome chat? Here. There's a bit more than just that toggle. So depends on, this hasn't been ran on mine, so it's not going to work and operate for me to be able to listen to Docker on mine. But you can also deploy this in Docker if you wanted to. So another question. Curtis got the good questions. I guess we can turn on OS query. What else we got? I know there's got to be more questions. I'm here to help you set it up so you can ask me the questions. I just wanted to break down how to do it. I can show you guys MISP, which is an integration. You can integrate with Circata for XDR stuff. You can integrate with SOAR for automation. If you Sumo Logic, we're not doing that. That's not a thing. Sumo is very expensive. If you don't, so yeah, I'm not doing that. What else do you guys want to know? Oh, or folks want to know. What would your first steps be to deploy this in my home lab if I wanted to get a feel? I would go through, I would do it cloud-based, just like we kind of did here with the Linode, and just install the agents on your individual endpoints and kind of see where it goes from there. Also, there's a really great video. You'll see Shuffle plus Wazoo plus the Hive plus Cortex if you wanted like a whole craziness. But there's a lot of configuration on that. Because I would do a Linode of it, go on the cheap end. I mean, how many devices do you have in your home/home lab? Depends on who's asking. Say 3 physical, 10 to 20 virtual, someone had a firewall and a Pi and a small VM server. You do this all day long with the bare minimum setup that we did, and it's going to manage, monitor, and maintain all of it fairly simply. And I mean, I would, like I was saying, I would do the Linode, manage the Linode like we did, or if you wanted to keep it all internal, and since you have a VM server already, just put a Ubuntu box in there and set this up. You can do it on, you can install this on CentOS too. I just prefer Ubuntu, so whichever one you're more comfortable with. And then just install agents on all of them across the board and keep it all internal to a 10 network or 7, whatever you have. I run a 10 network inside on my house, but most people do 192. And it'll work internally just fine as long as they can get out to the internet and get the updates it needs. Other questions? I'll stop. No, Curtis, you ask away. That's the whole point of having such an open, long period is that we set this thing up, we go through the struggles together, and then we ask the questions. Like if you wanted to set it up right now and say, hey, I ran into this problem, or, someone else, like, I don't know if Brant's is still on or not, or he's just like, I'm tired of this. This is boring. But, if he has problems and needs help, I'm here to help. I don't have a problem. If you wanted to, you know, create breakout rooms or something with people that are already doing it or wherever you're at, I'm fine with that too. That's why I'm here to help you set it up and to get you started and put you down the path to being successful, to building this and understanding it and making it pretty much as free as possible. Pardon me. What else do we got? Questions, comments, concerns? People want to take a break? Let me know. Set up another Ubuntu Linode, install the agent, check the state of the file, and it's hanging on pending. Generally, it's fairly quick and fairly fast. I mean, I've installed it, it's there a minute later. I have like 4 different agents installed on this other Linux server, so that was my problem. Because this is about my 5th time kind of going through this. I would just run a reboot on that and reinstall it on that other Ubuntu Linode if you wanted to do that. Is this, Michael, this is set up in Ubuntu in Linode. And yeah, I was going to ask, do you have, is your firewall enabled? Is it listening on that port? Are they on the same VNet? Did you point it to the external IP? Kind of, in that realm. What other questions do we have? I know there's 25 people in here, probably 20 of which are watching TikToks right now. I'm kidding, but comments, questions, concerns, feedback, tell me I sucked. It's okay. I'm good with it. I could actually show. Give me 1 second. Let me hop into an environment where it's internal. No, Paul, you're good. You need more information. You need a breakdown, Paul. Let me stop sharing real quick. I am going to show you a production instance that's running the same size. Give me 1 moment. All right, so this is a real deal, real life organization that has real things going on and real events. It was set up on Monday, and this is what they already have. And this was just established on Monday. And let me show you agents themselves. And this is across multiple organizations and multiple locations. And this is, let me go back over here. And let me pull this up. And let me go over here to HIPAA, because this is a healthcare. And these are the things that they most have to worry about and that they need help with. So the violation is the 164 3.12b, which I alluded to earlier, and I know about it because that's what's popped up on here. And this is problematic, to say the least. But this is what needs to be resolved and the requirements. So if you need to fix requirements and so forth, this is mechanisms that will help protect electronic health record information. So this shows that a successful remote logon detected happened, it occurred. And down here, full log breakdown. This is real data. This is not like some sample data. This is real. This is everything in the Windows event. And this is, could be possible past the hash. Now, if we determine it to be actual and a false positive, then we can tune this out and say, okay, and acknowledge it. The tuning process does take time, and you have to create filters and break them down and do this in a very slow, methodical manner. My suggestion is to take them and create a spreadsheet of everything that's out there and how you need to break it down, and then cross-reference that with the actuality of, is it being exploited in the wild? Is this internal only? And how do you resolve this in the quickest manner possible without affecting business operations, if you're going to use this in a real world business scenario? And working in a SOC or having your own SOC, everything will be real world, and it will have real world impact on operations, profitability, and capability of employees to operate efficiently and effectively. So I'm not going to get too deep into that because I don't want to expose too much information. But what other questions do we have? I know there's got to be some more questions. Also quiet. I'm going to drop off of that. Hopefully it doesn't drop this. Shouldn't. Anything else that you would like to see or anything else? Because I'm here to help. And that's what I really want to do. I mean, I know we're approaching that 2-hour mark. So, I mean, I will stay around and whatever, or if you want to share the stage or something like that, I'm sure I can pass something along. I don't know how I would be able to do that, if I could pass stuff over to say, hey, here you go, show me what you got, ask the questions. But what I will do is I will give you my email address that you can reach out if you have questions, you want to pick my brain, you want help with something. I'm not, and again, I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm just trying to help set stuff up, set people up, and help you get experience, knowledge, and understanding of SOC operations, how to do it, how to watch things, how to enable yourself and enable what you are moving into and what you're going to grow into. So if there's really nothing else, or you just need a little break, then feel free to take it. I'm going to still be here. I'm just going to go grab some coffee and be back in approximately 5 minutes. Okay, so I'm back and figured I'd give you a couple of minutes to see if y'all had any questions, came up with anything, so forth like that. I want to make sure that I am available for you and help you transition or work through anything that you need help working through. And right now I'm just setting up another one just real quick to do a flash install of it. Is there any questions? There's 27 people in here right now. That's what it shows, 27. Priscilla Lopez, I think, just joined. I think that's what it said. Little pop-up said anyway. So welcome, cool. And for anybody that's joined late, what I'm about to do is just stand up a Linode thing here. If you want free credits to play with it, whatever. Like I said, I don't get any kickbacks or anything like that. I just have some free thing to give away because they said I could. So if you want to set up your own Linode of it, there you go. And I did answer Curtis's question about clearing them out with a filter, I believe, and the answer to that was yes. I also have some cron jobs that I set up to clear logs and auto update and upgrade. If you're going to run it all the time and you're going to use this as a actual internal production or test or POC, then I have some cron jobs that I can provide you to make it clean and always upgraded and secure. If you want, I can paste those in the chat or I can send them to you via email, however you prefer. But right now, I'm just going to flash set up one of these. This base instance as a starting point for anybody that may have joined late. So I'm just going to put this all together. Just the fast way for me. And what I did there is I just put it in my own little script to run all of this in one fell swoop. If that's a little small, I apologize. I'll make it bigger. And all I did was on this, it was different than the first time, is I just wrapped it into my own script. So then I called the script from the script that I had downloaded. That's it. Just super simple. I cut my own head off there for a second. So any other questions or anything like that? Anything anybody needs, wants? Anything I can provide for you? Not, then I'll just keep going down this path here and figure out what I might want to show you. I may have asked for a bigger block of time to help people configure their stuff. So found my Ubuntu agent issue. The host name was the same as the server. There's an invalid host name error in the osec.log. Change the host name, rebooted, and it's showing up in the Wazoo manager now. Cool. Very nice. So for those of you that are new or just came in, Michael and a couple other people are still working on building this stuff out for themselves and their own stuff. And I'm in the Discord too, if you guys are in there. So I can answer questions on that Discord too. If you don't want to email or anything like that, that's perfectly fine and understandable. Recapping for those that might not have been here. It's just a Wazoo's a fairly straightforward SIMSOC solution that allows you to deploy it for next to nothing. And if you wanted to go with the cloud version, I'm more than happy to show that as well. I'm not the biggest fan of doing it, but I will. As you have to have a business email and not just a Gmail or anything like that. And I understand why. So just depends on how you want to do it. And they do utilize a multi-tenanted solution for their cloud-based, for Wazoo Cloud. This is the logon itself for the console. So let's see where we're at here. All right, so it says it's finished. We'll just grab this. As of right now, you guys are the only ones with the username password for the old one or the other one, because I didn't copy it down and it's in the chat. So but I'll be destroying that machine. Like I said, next week. I'll leave it up for 7 days if you want to play with it. It's in the chat, but we'll go to this brand new one that's just stood up. Grab this IP, come over here. And a pin with HTTPS because I didn't do that. And that was a total of 7 minutes for the full base of this to be installed, no configuration or anything like that. So in approximately 7 minutes time, you can have the floor, I'd say base foundation. If you want to, you can only monitor what's in AWS or in AWS itself or GCP itself. Thank you, Stefan. I think it's Stefan. I hope I said that right. I don't want to mess it up, but if you only want to monitor AWS because it's agent based, and you can also monitor only AWS with the AWS integration, then that would be all that you would do. That would be your SOCSIM solution for AWS itself. And it's the agents and the XDR stuff that you apply only to where you apply it. It's not scan based, which I prefer because I don't want something just randomly out there synacking my whole network, at random all the time. I love Nessus for what it's good for vulnerability analysis and vulnerability finding, but the scans themselves can be a bit obtrusive at times if it's not set up right, and it can and has been known to take down entire networks while it's scanning, and that's not good in the environments that I work in. So if you only wanted it to do GCP or Google Cloud, you could do that too. If you only wanted it for all of your Linux instances, then it's just Linux and only where you install those Linux agents, and that's all you watch. If you can pretty much do what you want to the degree that the system will allow. If I had my choice, I would, and the way that I have established some things is that I created a multi-tenanted approach to it and brought in the tenants for the Linux systems, the Windows systems, because there's a large number of Linux admins and Windows admins. And, in some worlds, never the two shall mix type thing. And some of them think that each other are not as intelligent as the other group because Linux admins, they have a certain way about them, and I'm okay with it. Just like Windows admins are the same. There is also the ability that you could only do XDR with this and say, this is my XDR SIM, and I'm going to integrate Suricata with it and use that as my base for edge of the network and internal XDR relational things. It's going to be dependent on what you want to use it for. The beauty is that because it is a free and capable system that you can do that. Now you're creating separate panes of glass for yourself, but again, you can add the nodes together and create a multi-tenant approach to it, which is a little more complicated and convoluted in the setup. But you could create nodes and then create tenants, and each one of those individual um, building blocks could be a bigger picture of the whole, and you could create your segregation there of how you wanted to do it. Or you could just lump it all into one big Play-Doh ball of stuff and tune it that way also. Again, it depends on what you want to do. You also can do SAML-based authentication, but not two-factor yet. They're building that in. That should be a 4.4 or 4.5 release. I don't know. I'd have to look back at the community notes that came out, but MFA and SAML's already there, but MFA is coming. Two-factor, not MFA, two-factor. So what other questions do we have? Anything? I know that somebody's got to have a question, or I'm just really muted and I've been talking to myself this whole time. So let me, is there typically a certification pathway for SOC analyst? I would say that if you're going to start anywhere, self-education first, feel good about the area of a SOC that you want to operate in. If you're really good with IR relational things, incident response and handling, look at going down that route. Always, everybody's going to say it, but Security Plus studying. I'm not saying get your Security Plus. I mean, a lot of places want it, but at least study Security Plus and understand it and be able to pass the test if you were going to, because it'll give you a solid foundation. Depends on where you want to go after, because not everybody's going to stay a SOC analyst forever. There's multiple career paths, red, blue, purple, however you want to do it. If you want a red team and be offensive, cool. Look at studying and working down the OSCP path. If not, then look at, you want to shoot for that management level, then your CISM, your CISM, or your CISSP. If you want to go that route and you kind of want to elevate yourself into the VP, CIO, CTO, CISO role. Most definitely, if you don't have the domain experience, start with your CISM, your CISM, and then afterwards, because there's only 4 domains required for the CISM, and then go for your CISSP, which is the 8 domains. It's not as hard as everybody puts it out to be if you have the experience and you take the time to study. If you want to go the blue route, I would say 100% take your time and look at a lot of the base Microsoft Defender, Microsoft Sentinel certifications to be a Microsoft Sentinel Ninja, which is a real track. They're trying to church it up a little bit, but if you want to stay blue side and stay in the SOC and you love it, then look at the Microsoft Sentinel Ninja stuff. There's a couple of things in there, and it really helps a better understanding of SOC operations and stuff. And then they have a lot of free-ish courses. If you're with an organization that has Microsoft licensing and VLP stuff, then there's a lot more free stuff. And if you're, still sitting in the government side, on the DoD side, or, military side, then you can put in the request for the certifications and classes and stuff. And, depending on your command, they'll probably sign off on it. I don't know. Every command's different, but if you're a hard charger, then yeah, they should be like, okay, cool. This dude's about to get out anyway. So, or this person, y'all, is about to get out and do something else. So let's hook them up, unless your commander sucks. And then they'll be like, nah, I'm good. What else? I don't have my CISSP yet. I have my Sec Plus, CCNA, CCNP, because I used to want to be a network guy. And I have my degree, but I have a lot more down in the trenches, getting my hands dirty, doing things. I worked a long time on the admin side, doing administrative stuff and working, doing, building, breaking, not change managing stuff. Um, of course, doing I forgot to document that, but I just know how to do it, siloing myself. I spent years doing that and then moved over to the security side. So yeah, it just depends on which road you want to go down, Paul. That's kind of the long answer. Short answer is just do everything and find what you love. Like, I like offensive stuff. I really do. But I'm nosy, so I like all the logging. Thanks, Paul. Anybody else? Questions, comments, concern, bitches, moans, groans, complaints? If not, then we can call it good. A hard stop at 2:10-ish time frame. I did provide my email address, but I will let me provide all of this stuff real quick. One more chat drop, so it's there. So free Leno credit thing. And so let me just put all of this stuff together into one fell swoop of stuff. My email address, in case anybody wants to reach out. You don't have to. I'm in the Discord server too, like I said. Let's see. This is that's to install Wazoo. This is contact. And see what else. Make sure I put everything in this one final little push. So that way that I'm not wasting anyone's time, because I don't want to do that, because that would suck. And so there's kind of the whole breakdown. There's the Linode credit thing, quick install of Wazoo, and contact information if you want to get a hold of me. If there's anything else that you need or want or anything like that, let me know. I'm here for you guys, and I'll answer whatever emails or outreaches that you have via LinkedIn, Discord, or whatever. And have no problems. If you wanted to say, hey, can I pick your brain on this? I have an issue with this on the stuff. I'll answer, and I'll try to help you or give you a Teams meeting, Zoom thing that we can hop on and work through it. Other than that, if there's nothing else, I appreciate you guys taking time today. There was 40 something people in here at one time. Now there's 22. And so, Paul, I really appreciate all of the chatting and the talking and the questions. They were great. Appreciate it. Michael also was a boss with it. So very much appreciate Michael Ortiz. And Candace, you too. Thank you. You responded and you were going with it. And Curtis too. I know Curtis was pretty prevalent at the beginning. So again, if there's anything you need, want, whatever, my contact information is in the chat here, and I'll be more than happy to respond to you. Other than that, thank you. You all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the Discord. And Stefan, thank you as well.